What's doing? Welcome back to another episode. This one's a bit more technical. This is for you Ford Ranger guys. BT50 is obviously the same as well. 2.2s and 3.2s. The P0089 code, it'll throw that code and a few other codes for fuel related codes. There's probably about two issues as well. There could be other multiple issues if it's catastrophic. But there's two main issues that they have. I've got one here. We fixed it. So let's go through and I'll show you what it's done. So this one wasn't dead. It was still alive. He'd been fifth or sixth gear, loaded up, not even loading it up, but like obviously, sort of making it struggle a little bit more than it should. Getting on and off the highway, those sorts of things, putting fifth or sixth and just made it labour is the word, I guess. You'd make it labour a little bit more than it should, and it would go in the limp mode, throw the light on. Most scan tools wouldn't actually show the code what it was, so we've had to use either 4Scan or a good snap-on tool, and we've got it up. It's P0089. There was a couple other codes in there, glow plug codes, and there's all sorts of things in this thing. But what it is either the suction control valve or the fuel pump. Now, you can sort of kind of see it. If I get you down in there, that's, where are we? So that cover there, that one there, that cover is the fuel pump. And you can sort of look down through the gaps in here. I'll try and get you in the realm. Everything's in the way and Josh already fixed it. But down in here, that's your fuel pump. And in the back of it is the suction control valve. They pay up, but there's also the pumps. Now, suction control valves aren't cheap. They're cheaper than the pump, but the new pump does come with one. So you sort of run the risk of picking one or the other. Early models seem to have more of an issue with the pumps than the suction control valves. Later models generally are the suction control valves. So let's have a look inside. So the suction control valve sits in the back here. We've already pulled this pump apart. It's just a fuel shut-off valve, basically to help you shut it down. What will happen is that'll play up and it can throw it into like an idle/limp mode. Navaras do the same thing. D40s, you'll be driving along, all of a sudden go into limp mode or idle during, turn the car off, turn the car back on again, it'll go. This would do the similar sort of thing. Turn the car off again, turn the car back on again, and it would go until it went into limp mode or you clear it off. And it was eventually getting worse. We tried the suction control valve because they are easy to replace. They've basically just got two screws and the pump sits like that, and you can pull the suction control valve, put a new one in, and away you go. Now, suction control valves are about $300 or $400 genuine. They're actually cheaper genuine than they are aftermarket. Like I said, the later model ones have a good pump, and the suction control valve is the issue. The older model ones are the ones that can be either or either. When you catch is the next problem. So I'll show you the pump. So these little springs and valves sit in the sides of the head in here. They sit inside here. So we pull these out so we can see. So the springs have all snapped. So you can see that spring there is snapped. And this one's snapped. You can see there. And this one's in the same thing. Snapped. Now, these springs will come past that plunger and end up inside your pump. And that's when it gets catastrophic. So what happens then is those springs go through the pump, go through the injectors, they destroy your injectors, and you've got to do everything. You replace the in-tank pump, the injectors, that pump, fuel filter, go through the whole lot, and it's not a cheap exercise. The pump isn't cheap either. I think the pump's about $2,000, something like that, depending on price, location, times, all those sorts of things. But that is the problem with this code on this car. So you need to be aware that in the early model ones up to 2015, 2016, they run these cheaper metal springs. In the later model ones, they've changed to the better metal springs, and the pumps are generally okay. Now, when I say generally, they can still play up. I've had a couple of ones that we've had to replace pumps on because they have failed, but they don't fail like that with the springs let go. So that's just a thing for you guys to be aware of. If you have a Ranger, a BT50 2.2 or 3.2, the transits are the same. Anyone that has that P5AT or the P3AT, whatever the other code is for 2.2, they have that same fuel pump. Front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, doesn't matter. They're very, very common to play up. The symptoms can change. Like I said, this one was under a bit of load, fifth and sixth gear. It would go in the limp. You could drive around normally anyway. You could rape it and it'd be fine. But it was just in that little bit of load down low, we're making it sort of load up, make it labour, it would go into limp mode. But if you raped it, it was fine. So it was really weird, this one. Previous ones we've had where it just goes into limp mode and it doesn't go anywhere, and the springs end up in your hand in 1,000 pieces. So just be aware of that with these Rangers and BT50s. Super common problem, as well as turbos and transmissions and EGR coolers and all those things. This one's just on that P0089 code. So if you like the info we're giving you today, hit that like, hit subscribe. If you have any other more issues you want to know about the Rangers, let me know. But until then, I'll talk to you next time. Cheers, guys.